everyone, I'm Nicole. I'm the founder and CEO of Darn Good Yarn, and today I'm going to make a video, and it's going to be kind of a fun one because we're doing a little bit of R&D with the Oxford punch needle, which is my favorite tool of all time. Like, if I did this before knitting, I might have only been a rug hooker. So, but don't tell my knitters that. But for this video, what I'm going to do is walk you through some of our most popular yarns here at Darn Good Yarn and show you how they actually work through this particular punch needle. I have a frame. This is Monk's cloth, of course, and I use the Rose Perlman method, she's like one of my favorite artists. So I stretched Monk's cloth just on a 12 by 12 frame and just stapled it to the back, except my stapling is a little bit messier than her. She's a lot neater than me, but it creates a nice surface. And then for my demoing today, I have two needles here. For my thicker yarns, I'm using a size 9, and then for some of our thinner yarns, just to test out, I'm using a size 14. And some of them are going to work great, and some of them are not going to work great, and I just want to show you the difference between the two. So for this first demo, this is our Bliss superwash chunky yarn. It's 100% merino wool, and you can see it just has a really cool effect here. We just did a little testing right before we turned the camera on, and it has a really fluffy effect. So I do know this one's going to work really quite well. And when we're done, we'll put some pictures up on the website, and you can see maybe more effects that way. But so I'm just getting that threaded here, and I'll just do like a couple of rows, and I'll show you the effect. So this is when I'm drawing the needle back out. It does have a nice fluffy effect on the working side. And then I'll just turn it around here. And it's funny, we're trying to figure out how to like do this effectively when I usually punch like this in my lap. I'll just do 3 rows of this, and yeah, I love this because this is like instant gratification yarn because it's so thick and fluffy and it fills up the area. So you can see just even with 3 rows here, how quickly that filled up. I have, about a finger's width of material that's gone there. So I'm going to cut this off. We'll move on to our next fiber. This is going to be a longer video too. So you're going to see how even when I cut that, it fluffs off. So if you are looking into doing some really cool dimensional stuff on your project, again, this is Bliss Super Wash Chunky, and you can find this on darngoodyarn.com, but you can see here how nice and fluffy and filled in that looks. So I kind of really love that, and it's very, very soft. So this would be great for like a pillow cushion or something that's going to be felt a lot on bare skin. All right, so that's that one. I'll move this out of the way. We have a lot of yarns to go through, so this will be fun. I've been looking forward to making this video all day. So the next one is our banana fiber. So I just have this really nice sunflower yellow here. And I'm going to try for this one, again, I'm going to try my number 9 for the thicker yarn, because it is actually a very dense fiber, and we're just going to go for it and see what happens. This one has, like, it's a little bit more slubby, like there's thick and thin parts to it, and so we'll see how that works through the Monk's cloth. It's fun to experiment with this stuff. All right, so here we go. There's 2 other people in the room here with me, so we're like we're just waiting to see what happens. So here's the banana fiber. So as I work this through, this is actually pretty cool. There's a little bit of a sheen just that happens with the banana fiber, and I actually like this. It gives it a really nice organic look. It's tighter. It's a smaller stitch than that superwash I just had. I'm sorry, not the superwash, the chunky yarn I just had before. And it does bounce out of the needle just a little bit, so you are going to have to just watch your tension, and I think this does work out really nicely though. But again, I do think it does bounce a little bit out of the needle, so if your canvas isn't really tight, this is going to pop right out of it. So I'm just going to go down the other line here and go down this way. It's funny, you watch people do crafts on these videos, and it's actually, I feel like I'm on the spot right now because I am. And it's hard to do crafting like that, I think. So the one thing that just happened here, you can see, this might be the best if there's like a little bit of a slub here, that you work this in smaller sections. So this would actually, the banana fiber would be an excellent accent fiber if you just want something interesting in your work. And I wouldn't do this for larger areas like that first yarn. So we'll take that out. And all right, so that's that one. And again, we'll take pictures, but you can see there's kind of a nice little fuzziness to this. You could use this almost like if you were going to do a hair, like if you had a little person and you wanted to do hair around it. That's the kind of cool effect, and it does fill in really very nicely. And again, super, super soft. The next yarn here is our Firecracker. This is 100% recycled silk, and it's hand spun in southern India. Every skein is totally different colors, so you can see here, and I'm sure you can look on the website as well, there's just a lot of color variation, and it all changes a little bit. So again, this is the Firecracker. I'm again going to use the 9 punch on this, the number 9 punch. And I'm going to draw this through. And you know, the silks are slippery, so they always bounce a little bit. So I'm going to back up a little bit here and give myself some leverage here. So again, this is the Firecracker. And this actually is really cool. You just have to make sure that that needle tip does not come off. I can tell it doesn't come off the cloth. But the cool thing you can start to see is you get that color, like that pop of color instantly. If you're like a color lover like I am, like I just need rainbows in my life all the time. But if you are loving color and like a lot of vibrancy, this is actually a really cool fiber to work with. And there's just this beautiful sheen on it. I'm going to do another row because this is just so fun. And because the way it's spun, when it's hand spun, there's just weird twists. Like you just get all these different colors that just sort of surprise you. So I'll do one more row. Come on. Maybe Amelia, when she's making this, will fast forward this part because I'm having such a good time. And again, I have a very tight canvas. I think, you know, that's probably one of the best tips I can give you is making sure that your canvas, when you're working with fibers that aren't your typical wool for this kind of project, it has to stay really tight because there is a little bit of a slip. Here's what that looks like. So it kind of almost blooms on the other side. And it's soft, and there's actually a little bit of a sheen here as well. So it looks really, really pretty. So that's Firecracker. The next one is our worsted weight. This is a very popular yarn. It comes in your first month Yarn of the Month Club box when you get it from Darn Good Yarn. So this is, again, our worsted weight. We have a lot of colors of this yarn. This is a noil silk yarn. It's 100% recycled. I think this is some random colorway, though, so I don't think we have this on the site. This was a sample colorway. For this one, I am going to actually use the 14 needle that's meant for smaller, lighter weight yarns. So I'm just threading that through now. And let's draw this through. I think that might be the trick. All right, so let me get punching on that. So this works pretty well. Again, because it's a little bit slippery, you need to make sure that you're leaving enough lead on your working yarn as it comes off the ball. Because I could tell even just with it, I felt a little bit of tension there, and I knew it was going to pop all of my loops out. So I'm going to turn this around. This has a finish. This is a very typical yarn finish in terms of stitches. But I like it because you still get a little bit of tonal variation. That's just sort of the natural characteristic of the noil yarn. And noil is just a fancy word for recycled silk, but this has just been machine spun, which is sort of nice. And we get this from southern India as well with this awesome co-op. And the supplier that works with me, he's really about building his local community, which is why I've been working with him for almost a decade now. Very special to me. All right, so here's that. I'll show you. Let me just clip this off. Again, this is the worsted weight. Tons of colors of this, and I use the smaller needle. So this is how this looks. And again, for this needle, because it's the 14, it is going to be a smaller loop size just for the purpose of this video. But of course, you can use a longer like stem size of other needles if you want. So that's it. That's very nice. It has a little bit of like this organic-y texture to it. We'll take a close-up of it, picture when it's all done. All right, let's see here. We have a lot more to go through, but I can do this stuff all day. This one, I know you guys are going to love. This is the Darn Good worsted twist, and this is in Machu Picchu, which is like my favorite colorway of all time. I'm definitely going to use the larger needle for this. This is a 9, and this is a nice thick yarn, and there's some super duper loft to it, which reminds me of, you know, more of the typical yarns that you would use traditionally with this art. So wait until you see the color on this though. This is gonna be one of those ones that I just work on for a while. So this is one of those like instant gratification yarns because it's so chunky and there's just so much color going on in it. You're going to, I could just fill up a whole canvas with just this yarn, honestly, because it's so colorful and cool. So you're gonna have to wait and see when I show you. As it progresses, I'll point it this way. So I'm going into like some mulberry colors, and then it transitions into like these cool sea greens and yellows. It's just so pretty. I'll do one more row so you can really get the full effect. But again, just in 3 rows, this is just like the first yarn. It's like a finger's width. So you do get a lot of bang for your buck here. And let's see, I'll finish this off. You know, it's like children, you're not supposed to have your favorite, but this is like my favorite. So there we go. So this is what it looks like on the back side, and this is what it looks like, this one, on the front side. Isn't that so cool? I love that one. So again, that one is the Darn Good worsted twist. And then let's see here. This next one is our 80-20, and this is in Burgundy Blossom. This is a pretty thin one too. Again, we're experimenting a little bit while we do this video. I have a feeling this one's going to pop just because of the thickness of it, but hey, we're here. Let's do it, right? So again, this is the 80-20. And threading stuff on camera is also a skill that I have to get really good at, I guess. So let me try this. I'm going to definitely give myself some leeway here, because if you have any tension coming out of that ball, it's going to pop that yarn right out. Here we go. Get very serious when I do my fiber art. So yeah, this one is just sort of jumping right out. I mean, you can, if you have patience, you can do it, but it's kind of very sloppy and it's jumping, the stitches are jumping out and they're uneven. So I think if you're like me, you're going to get frustrated with this. Like you'll have stitches that will jump out and then you'll have to fix them on the back end. So I wouldn't use the 80-20 for punch needle. So I'm going to pull that out of there. And then the next one I have, this is our Darn Good Fancy Twist in Pink Flamingo. This is a really popular yarn. If you look at our hashtag Darn Good Yarn on Instagram, a lot of people use this to show off their projects with it. This is sort of an in-betweener. I'm going to try this size 9 punch on this, so, but it's kind of good, like the weight of it, I'm like, oh, maybe it needs the smaller one. We'll see. So let's see. Yeah, this is cool. I think you can go in between using this needle or the other one, depending on what you want. But the nice thing is the colors change pretty quickly. I'd say like you get, it's a very slow turn in the color, in the shading. So like you're changing colors every 4 to 6 inches, which is really pretty cool. So this would be, this particular colorway, which is Pink Flamingo, this would be cool for like kind of fancy, like fantasy sort of skies and sunsets. That's just me though. That's where my head goes. It's always to sunsets or the ocean. Let's see here. So this is really vibrant, very soft. It's a nice smooth finish. Again, this is a noil yarn as well, recycled silk. I'll show you what the front and the back look like. Does your craft room look like this? Like you have all this stuff all over the place, right? So here's the back. And then check out the front. You can see how it opens up and blossoms as well. So again, a really, like a lot of bang for your buck, and it just sort of like fills up your work area really quickly. So far so good, right? We have a couple more to go through. This next one is sparkle, not sparkle worsted. This is our lace weight. And again, I think this is a little bit too thin, but I'll just show you. I'll go on the, well, maybe it won't be because the sparkle might give it enough grip actually. So again, experimenting. I'm using the 14 punch on this, and then give myself a little bit of leeway here. This is perfect when you actually do use a yarn bowl, and to think that we have yarn bowls all over here and I'm not using one right now is pretty hilarious. It's all good. Sometimes you just have to go with it and try to Bob Ross things, not take it too seriously. So it jumps a little bit. It's very, very pretty though because there's the sparkle. I would tell you that you can use this as long as you don't pick your needle up off the monk's cloth at all, and you have a very, very, very tight canvas. And I would actually tell you to like kind of push each stitch over into itself, like as you go up each row, to make sure you have it filled in and it's nice and dense. But the color on here is freaking awesome. Again, if you're into really vibrant colors like I am, well, you probably wouldn't be watching this video if you weren't, because this is darn good yarn and we do a lot of bright colors. But this is just really cool for like a really fun color work piece. All right, I'll do one more row here so you can see. Yeah, you know what? I thought this one wasn't going to work, but it actually is pretty cool. You just need a little bit more patience, sometimes more than I have. I guess that's what crafting is for, to teach us lessons. So I'll show you how this looks. So here's the front. It's the one with the sparkle. And then here's the back side of it. And it's a surprise when we all look at it. So it opens up really nicely. If you're a person that likes to show off the back of their work, I would do what I was telling you and push the stitches into each other. But if you're showing off this part of your work, I would still evenly space and even leave like a slight gap on the back side because it does fill in and fluff up really pretty. All right, next one. So the next one, what should I do? I have 5 more. I'm going to try the 3-ply nettle for you. This is coming hand spun from Nepal. I did try the hemp off camera. It was way too like rugged and stiff to even try to get through, so we're not even going to bother. On this one, I'm going to try the 14 again, depending on the thickness of it though, because this one always has variation just the way it is made. You might have to bump it up to the... Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to use the larger needle on this one. I can feel it. Because there's a little bit, just because it's hand spun, the thickness varies just a little bit, so you need to give yourself that leeway. But we'll try with this. The hemp was definitely, like I said, that was a no-go. I just have to get my crafting and move on with my life. All right, so this is a 3-ply nettle. And I'm punching my desk as I go along. Yeah, I had the same problem with the other stuff. It doesn't actually want to lock into the monk's cloth, and it's just the fiber characteristic. So I'll try to give it one more go. Maybe you guys that have a little more experience can do this, but I'm having a hard time. Oh, let's see. All right, the first couple of goes, you just have to take it really slow. I think if you move slowly, yeah, it bounces out. You can see here, it bounces out of the needle, which if you're just using it as an accent, all right, you can do a couple of inches, but I would not use this as a filler piece. You'll be cursing me if you do. So I don't want you to curse Nicole Snow's name. So I'm going to say that this is like a to a maybe, but you can see on the back side the loops that it makes. So it's kind of a cool effect, but you just need the patience of a saint to do it. That's fair, right? Fair? All right, next one is our black and hue worsted weight, and this is in the color Mystic Shadows, which is super pretty. I'm going to use the 9 again, and again a noil silk, which I really like these, and I wasn't when you're brought up, when you take like a nice class and you're using like Seal Harbor is an amazing company for wool yarn, and I love them. Like their whole company is awesome. So that's how I learned, and then I actually came back to Darn Good Yarn, to my own company. I was like, well, let me try the silks in them. So it's been like a complete. It's just been like, oh, let's just try this out. Let's see how this works. So this is a great yarn to work with. This runs right through. It's nice and smooth. Again, this is the black and hue, and it just has a little bit, like just a touch of that black in there, and then it does come in quite a few colors, which is pretty nice too, but it kind of gives it, like if you've done your own rug hooking and you've dyed your own wools, it has that kind of multi-tonal effect that you get when you hand dye wools, which I always really love. It just makes your pieces really interesting and multi-dimensional. So let me do one more quick row here. Oh, that last one was sloppy. You weren't supposed to see that one. Sometimes I get carried away and I just punch right into another loop completely. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself sometimes. All right, so here's this one. Again, this is black in hue. And you can see this is how it looks on the back side. And then look at the front side. Those beautiful loops, and it's just so fluffy again. So you can have a lot of fun with these, and just in terms of like just the additions of what you can add to your projects. Like I always like to do maybe solid colors, and then maybe you want to add some really interesting texture. Like these noil silk yarns are, and even the recycled silks are awesome to use. All right, so for this yarn, I'm using our 100% Italian wool palms. We have so many colors of these, and probably we're going to put them up on the website in just assorted packs because the colors are all over the place. They're so cool. So for this is how they come. You get about, I don't know, like 1.5 yards of yarn, and I just thread this through my size 14 and just show you what that looks like. And this is great for just a little accent color. I've been working on a project that's just sort of fills in small little pieces of color, and it's very abstract, so these are perfect for it. And I'm actually using other yarn samples for it. So as I punch this, I generally don't do this, but I'm going into almost every square of the Monks cloth, and it's giving it a beautiful, like the thickness of it gives it a beautiful uniform look. Let me turn it around here, go back the other way. And make sure I have all of the threading with me. Let's see here. But this is really pretty, and it's the color is so super rich. I mean, this is like a really high quality wool. And then we also have, in terms of other colors and materials, I have 100% cotton as well that comes in every single color in the world. We've been joking about it because we have some boxes here that are dead stock. So if you want it, hurry up and get it. But let me show you what this looks like. I'll just cut this. You can see very nice and even on this side. And then check out this side though. It's really pretty and rich. So that's with me going into every single hole of the Monks cloth. So yeah, on to the next one. 3 more to go. This one is Speckled tweed. This is in the color Begonia. So I'm going to use the same needle, the same punch on this, and I'm making a knot. My mother-in-law, Sue, we've always had a joke because she's gotten me into so many fiber arts, thank God. But like she gets the worst knots I've ever seen when she knits or does any fiber art, and I just started calling them Sue knots because I'm like, how did you do that? And I'm starting to follow her suit now. Maybe she needs a yarn bowl too, you know? All right, so this one, Speckled tweed, again, really awesome. And the beautiful thing is, I'll show you when I turn back around here, is the way, and especially in this colorway, which is Begonia, it's just this really sultry color transition from this like deep, beautiful indigo into this like rock star fuchsia. And it's really cool. It's very inviting, and it brings you in. And now I'm kind of transitioning into this rich, deep plum, and it's very, very satisfying. There's no other way to describe it. Let's see here. All right, so again, 3 rows gives you quite a lot. It gives you just under like a finger width in terms of what like what your gauge would be there. Let me cut this off. And here's the front side of it. And I know I'm supposed to be poking these through, but I'm taking enough of your time. So here's that side, and then check out the back side here, and it's this one. So it looks so pretty. And again, it fluffs out. This would be really pretty if you're doing flowers in your work, just the way it sort of like goes into really pretty, very feminine colors that are very powerful as well. All right, so for this next one, this is our DK weight. It's naturally dyed. It's in the color rose, and it's actually dyed with rose petals, which is awesome. Southern India for this, and I'm using the 14 needle. And you do need a little bit of patience and a very tight canvas for this, because it does want to jump a little bit. So I can't go my normal Nicole speed, which is way too fast, but it does, looks awesome. I'll just go one more time around here. Maybe not, you know what? Because we're gonna move forward on the video. I'm not gonna keep you here forever. All right, so I'll just show you one row. You see it's very nice, and then on the other side, it just fluffs up a little bit, just like the other noils do. The noil silks, the recycled silks, so really nice soft color, and then there's just a little bit of like, there's just organicness to it just because of the nature of the yarn. And then our last yarn is our Sari ribbon. Now, I get a lot of questions about this. The thing you need to know about the Sari ribbon is that it gets sewn end to end every like 12 to 16 inches. And I think that you should actually cut these apart because this is not going to go through your needle. And again, I don't want anyone cursing my name, so I'm warning you in advance. So I'm actually going to cut this off here and use this strip. So then it becomes more like traditional rug cooking. I'm using the size 9 punch on this. And thread this puppy through. And this came off of one of our 5-yard cards. The 5-yard cards are a great way if you're new to Sari ribbon to get some really cool colors, and you don't have to get like a whole skein of any one color. It's a nice way to fill out your collection. It was an idea I had while I was taking a shower a couple of years ago, so it's like most ideas at Darn Good Yarns. So this is working out really nicely. You do have to move just a little bit slower than you would with a traditional yarn, just to line everything up really pretty, but really nice even stitches, and I kind of really love this a lot. And you can see all the fibers in the ribbon itself, and we just have so many colors of this. And I have actually a couple pieces of at home that are made out of just Sari ribbon, and there's just so much tonal variation. It just makes it a really fun and exciting project. So this is the back, and then here is the orange one. This is the front of it. So it looks really cool, and it gives us a really unique texture. So you put that in with other wools, and it definitely gives us some cool depth and texture. So that's it. And yeah, if you have any questions, reach out to us here over at darngoodyarn.com, at info@darngoodyarn.com, and follow us on social media, just any of the handles at darngoodyarn. I'll talk to you later. Bye.